So, if you have ever wondered, what are some of the differences between the teachings of the Catholic churches and the Protestant churches? Today, on Sharing the Word Fellowship, we're going to try and, clear some of that up a bit. I'm Pastor Jim Scher, and welcome to Sharing the Word Fellowship. We are a Christ-centered and grace-filled ministry where we teach solely from the Scriptures. And let me start by saying that today's teaching is not an indictment on either the Catholic churches or the Protestant churches. It's not to point out which one's thought or teachings are right or wrong. It's simply to answer the questions, if you will. What are some of the differences in their teachings or their beliefs? Let me say that I am a non-denominational pastor, and the congregation that I pastor on Sunday does have folks who came from the background of Catholic churches and also people from the Protestant churches. So we'll start first with to distinguish that there are different denominations in each. As we all know, in the Protestant church, you have Lutherans, you have the Episcopal Church, Methodist, and very many Pentecostals, Baptists, many different denominations. In the Catholic Church, there are different denominations also. There is, of course, the Roman Catholic Church. There are what are known as the Eastern Orthodox churches, the Greek Orthodox Church, Russian Orthodox Church, the Church of Ukraine, and others. There are also what are known as Oriental Catholic churches. They are the Ethiopian Church, the Coptic Church, Church of Samaria, and others. So there are different denominations in each. So let's start with the first point, and that is that the Protestant Bible and the Catholic Bibles do have a difference in different books. The Protestant Bible has 66 books, while the Roman Catholic Bible has 7 extra books. The Greek and Eastern Orthodox churches have even more, and the Oriental Catholic churches, which have the Ethiopian Bible, you'll see has 88 books. So we'll start with that there are different books in each particular Bible that they use. Again, not to say one is right or wrong. It's just the way it is. So we'll start then with some things that are teachings from the Catholic Bibles. And the first is praying for the dead. Recently, on November 2nd, in the Catholic Church, they celebrate All Souls Day. And they have a book, Wisdom, originally known as the Wisdom of Solomon. And in some Bibles, you might see it listed as that. And in their 3rd chapter, verses 1 through 9, they celebrate All Souls Day, which is praying for the dead. It's a day in which they pray and celebrate, reflect on those people that they have lost. They also have what is known as purgatory. Now, in the Protestant churches, upon your death, you either go to heaven or you go to hell. There's no in between. However, in the Catholic teaching, they have their teaching doctrine of purgatory. Now, part of the word of purgatory is purge, and it's an area where one would go to have their sins purged, that they would move on to heaven. And that teaching doctrine comes from a book known as 2nd Maccabees in the Roman Catholic Bible. Now, the reason I say the Roman Catholic Bible is because in the Eastern Orthodox Church and the other Catholic churches that use a different Bible, there is a 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th Maccabees. Although it's the same content, it's just that they split the 2 books of Maccabees into 4. And there you will see their teaching doctrine of purgatory and also praying for the dead. So you have that difference. The next difference is in the Protestant churches what is known as Sola Scriptura. And solo scriptoro means solely from the scriptures. That, plain and simply, this, pardon the pun, is the Bible. And that's what we go by. The Catholic Church in the 16th century had a ecumenical council, their 19th ecumenical council, known as the Council at Trent. And there they decided that the Catholic traditions, if you will, are equal to the scriptures. And so in Protestant churches, solely from the Bible. If it's not there, it's not important or doesn't exist. In the Catholic Church, we also have our traditions that we adhere to or obey. The next is your salvation itself. In the Protestant belief, you are saved the minute that you believe in Jesus Christ. The minute that you accept Jesus Christ, you are saved. You can look back on a date and time and say, on that day, I was saved. In the Catholic Church, they also believe that, but they also ask that throughout your lifetime and your journey of life, that you would complete what are known as their sacraments. And the sacraments include things like getting baptized, taking communion, matrimony, in other words, getting married, and etc. Receiving absolution before your death from a priest. And so they have the sacraments. Another one is the Eucharist or the Lord's Supper. And I'm going to give you a long word, lots of syllables. Transubstantiation. Transubstantiation is the teaching that of the Catholic Church, that when you go up and receive communion, if you will, or the Eucharist, that Christ's body was actually transferred into that bread or wafer, and his blood, same way, was actually transferred into that wine or grape juice that you're taking. Now, a caveat to this. There are Protestant churches which also have transubstantiation as part of their teaching or their doctrine. The Lutheran Church, coming out of that 16th century, also the Episcopal Church, and I am with the Methodist Episcopal Church, and so it's part of our beliefs, and that's called transubstantiation. The next that we have is the Blessed Virgin Mary. All right? The Catholic doctrine of the Immaculate Conception is the birth of Mary, not the birth of Jesus, but the birth of Mary. And that she was born free of the original sin, and therefore was the perfect, without blame, if you will, person to be the mother of Christ. In the Protestant churches, we, of course, acknowledge Mary and that selection and her role that she played in the birth of Jesus. But she's not as exalted, if you will, as in the Catholic Church. Again, these things are just differences in their teachings, if you will. And again, I hope this video was helpful. And we're all brothers and sisters in Christ. And as I always say, if you love Jesus, then I love you. So again, this was not to say who's right or wrong. This is not to have an indictment on a group of people or their thought or their teachings or their beliefs. It's simply if you've ever had a question as to what are some of the differences. But in essence, we're all believers in Jesus Christ. Thank you very much. Again, I'm Pastor Jim Scher. This is Sharing the Word Fellowship. You can join us on our Sharing the Word Fellowship page or group on Facebook. Also, if you go to rev.James Scher, you will see these teachings on YouTube. Thank you very much.